Okay, welcome to Gen X Medic here, folks. Let's talk about this. We're going to talk about weight. We're going to talk about depression. We're going to talk about how that is going to affect your career, how it's going to affect your life. See, at some point, I'm going to get accused of fat shaming. At some point, I'm going to get accused of being an asshole. Hi, YouTube. I probably just, if I was monetized, I would have just demonetized this video. Don't care. Let's be honest here. This is a video that's currently aimed toward EMS personnel. We're medical people. We know these things. We know being fat's bad for you. We know other people being fat's bad for you because we have to take them in and out of houses. We know these things. We know depression leads to other issues. So my goal here is to convince you to actually do something about it. So like the comments, please subscribe. I need the subscribers. Watch the video, share it to people who you care about. Guys, I don't want to lose any of you to preventable causes. I don't want to lose anybody. So let's talk about me, because I'm firmly willing to put myself on the chopping block here. See, because I'm not perfect. Guys, I used to weigh 420 pounds. 420 pounds, even at 6'3", which I am 6'3". That is a big person. Do you know what 420 pounds meant? Meant my wife wasn't comfortable around me. It meant I had trouble walking. I had trouble doing anything. Couldn't fit in places. Wasn't comfortable getting on an airplane. I wouldn't fly because I didn't want to get on an airplane. How did I get there? Let's be honest. Slightly screwed up childhood. Slightly, yeah. Bad calls. Yeah. We used to have a tradition back where I started in EMS. If you had a cardiac arrest, chances are you were getting breakfast afterwards. And we're not talking some healthy breakfast. No, we're talking about bacon and eggs and biscuits and gravy and all that stuff you like. Comfort food. There's reasons it's called comfort food. It makes you feel better after something bad. So we do what we got to do to make things better. We deal with it. I had a lot of bad calls early on in my career. I mean, I still have bad calls. I'm just better at dealing with them. I've gotten a lot more resources. I've learned to reach out for help. These things matter. So you don't believe me. You're going to say, hey, Gen X, you're fat shaming people. Well, no, I'm not fat shaming anybody. Look at that guy. That wasn't even me at my biggest. It's just a decent picture I was able to find of myself and snip out because I really didn't want to show anybody else in it. This is not how this works. From my perspective, the most important thing is making sure things are taken care of, people are taken care of. So this guy needed to lose weight. See that smile on his face? That's not real. Yeah, I liked my job. You're gonna find if you know people in EMS, they usually like their job, especially if they're complaining about it. That's the funny part. A lot of people in EMS love to complain. No matter how good it is, they want to complain. Myself, no different. But there's some truth in it, that it's rough. And then there's also the fact that you're miserable, you're unhappy, you're lonely. Because it's hard to talk to people about the things you see and the things that happen. Part of it's because, well, part of it's because, well, you don't want to invite people into your world because your world kind of sucks at times. And you don't want to put that on anybody else. I don't want to put it on anybody else. So I talk about my problems with my coworkers. So that depression builds up because you don't want to be seen as weak. And you eat more, at least for me. See, there's other addictions. I had a food addiction. It's amazing. I enjoy a good strong drink. It's very rarely I get drunk, but I enjoy a good bourbon. I enjoy a good scotch. I'm that weird guy who likes both. Um, I enjoy a good beer, although, as you're going to find out, I can't really drink a lot of beer anymore. So, my journey. I tried Weight Watchers. I tried medication. I went on a medical diet plan. I was eating 1,200 calories a day. That's starvation level, folks. I had to watch every single thing I ate. Worse, I did this when I was in the Gulf of Mexico. And if you've ever worked as a medic on an oil rig, because this is a medical or this is an EMS based show. So there's a good possibility. There's at least one or two of you are going to pick this up. There's one thing you can count on: the food's good. They will make sure food's good, it's plentiful, it makes people happy. It's something that anything that any remote job will tell you. If you feed people well, half the battle's won from being happy. So, next thing's next. I had all the depression issues coming in from, childhood issues. Had the craziness from EMS, bad relationships, and it all just compounded. So I kept trying to lose weight, doing all these things. And at this block around 300, around 350, by the time I get there, I just give up on anything. It wasn't because of some stalling or anything. There was just something in here. It's here that I couldn't get through. So I went and sit down, talked to my wife in 2015. I was into 2015, early 2016. A friend of mine had had surgery and it worked fairly well for him. So I decided, yeah, let's do this. So I brought my wife in. My wife and I've had a lot of discussions on this since. One of her big fears was the fact that I would I would get to 350 and balloon back up. Well, she didn't know about the 350 block. She just knew that every time I lost weight, I'd gain it back. And she was afraid it'd fail, and then I'd have a compounding medical issues. So, needless to say, she was concerned But she also didn't want to lose her husband. Because while my A1C is great, my blood pressure is great, my cholesterol was great, trust me, my wife hates this because she eats right. And I lived on double quarter pounders and Chinese takeout, okay? We weren't the same. She has bad genes for cholesterol, drives her nuts. So, is what it is. We do what we got to do. And I go through a surgery. I go through all the process. Do everything I've got to do to make the insurance company happy. Get my surgery. And it works. I mean, it works. I shrunk like crazy. I mean, you saw that guy. That wasn't even me at my biggest. At some point, I will find a good picture of me at my biggest and we'll talk about it again. This is something that matters to me. So I added something. I always had a rule that if you had a bad day, I'd meet you and we'd sit down and we'd have a conversation and I'd listen because I've been depressed. I've been suicidal. I mean, the fat guy you saw was still depressed. He just wasn't suicidal anymore. Took a long time to not be depressed. Heck, I don't know. If I was to go see a psychiatrist, they'd probably consider me still technically clinically depressed. I don't know if they account for a dark sense of humor, though. And, well, let's be honest, I've been in EMS for 25 years. I mean, I came into EMS around 270 and just kept gaining weight. One of the things people forget is that you don't get fat overnight. You're not going to solve it overnight. And there's usually underlying issues. And if you don't deal with the underlying issues, you can't lose the weight. So being fat's a shield. It's a great shield. I mean, you get an excuse to laugh at yourself because most fat people have a self-deprecating sense of humor. It's endearing. It's why people talk about the jolly fat guy. I mean, it's a tool for getting through life. We also understand that, everybody's different and everybody's got their own point of view. One of the great things about fat people is they tend to understand your problems. People like being that person. It becomes part of you. And to this day, I have been under 250 for 6 years now. 6 years does not overcome the 20 years of being fat. It just doesn't. Folks, I'm asking you, do all the things. Get counseling. Try weight loss plans. Get medical weight loss if it works for you. If not, don't hesitate to get surgery. But also understand there's going to be massive changes no matter what you do. Now, some of them are great. Man, I just came off vacation. We walked 4 to 5 miles every day and I never felt winded. I was tired at the end of the night, but tired's good. I mean, I was busy. I could have done that when I was 400 pounds. I would have probably said, screw it, I'm out. Not only would have I lost out, my wife would have lost out on a great vacation because I couldn't have done it. There's a joke fat shaming works, and it does, believe it or not. There's an aspect of fat shaming that works, but it really doesn't work from everybody. It's got to be someone who cares about you enough to make it clear. I want you to lose weight. because you're fat, because I care, because I don't want to lose you. It can't come from some Joe Blow off the street. That doesn't work. That just makes someone feel bad. But if someone cares enough that they're engaging, they're not fat shaming you because they think you're funny. It's funny. They're coming at you like, man, you're gonna die. Girl, I don't want you dead. I don't want you to have a heart attack at 40 years old and die. And these things happen. And we all know they happen. Take advantage of everything your employer has to attack this. Because most employers now have programs for this. They have weight loss programs. They definitely cover weight loss surgery. I know this. Get involved and get counseling. I can't stress it enough how hard it is. You got to talk and deal with your issues. You have to. You can't not do it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. None of it's going to work. Yeah, you may lose the weight, but then you're going to balloon right back up. Why? Because you don't deal with the things that got you from here to there. Please listen to me. Listen to someone who's been there. Don't listen to all these lifestyle coaches who are like, well, you've got to be this. Yeah. They don't know. Most of them have no clue what the fight's like. They don't get it. They've never gotten tired from chasing their niece around a room. And all you want to do is be able to do it more, but you're so tired that you're exhausted. They don't know what it's like to look in the mirror and just hate yourself. They just don't get it. Why? Because 90% of them are full of crap. This is me. I've shown you. I've been there. Got 3 rules I live by. 1, first rule. If you have a bad call, you have a bad moment, you need someone to talk to, get a hold of me. If I'm close enough, I'm going to listen. Hell, man, honestly, if I get someone who's wants to meet on Zoom, I'll sit there and have that conversation. We're not going to record it. We're just going to have that conversation. When I get the email, I will make time if I can. It's that important. And I'm the guy that's been really close to self-deletion. I've talked about it before. 2, most problems can be solved with a simple conversation. But both people have to be open-minded. Both of us have to sit there and have the conversation and listen to what the other person's saying. 3, trying to better yourself, I'm going to support you. And losing weight is better for bettering yourself if you're overweight. There are also people who are too skinny. There are people who have this mental image that they are morbidly obese, and they're not. Either way, they need help. I'll listen. I'll give advice. A good friend of mine changed jobs and he says it's made him happy. I'm happy for him. Wish he was still here. Great dude. Miss the dude around the office. But hey, we've all got to sometimes make changes for the better for ourselves. Folks, I can sit here and quote statistics about how important it is to lose weight. I can quote statistics on how important it is to be healthy. We all know it's good for your A1C will get better, even if you're a diabetic. We all know that your blood pressure is likely going to come down. It helps your cholesterol. It decreases the likelihood of arthritis. These things we know. But let me tell you the truth. None of that matters. That will not affect your day-to-day life for the most part, except for the arthritis thing. What it's going to affect is how you feel. I go do stuff now. I love doing stuff. I like getting out and playing with my nieces and the grandkids because, hey, man, I've got grandkids at 46. I've got all these things that are great in my life. I wish I was back home more to play with those grandkids, but I've got a job. I've got a career. There's always things we want that are better. But I also want my coworkers and I want my peers to be better off. If you notice, a lot of the things I advocate for are to make EMS better. Really, what I'm trying to do is make it better for paramedics and EMTs. I'm trying to make things better for patients eventually, too. Please understand, this is a fight worth fighting. This is one of those videos I've been planning on for a while, and I didn't know how to get there to do it. But I saw that a gentleman who will go unnamed, hopefully they see this and hopefully get how important they are to me and so many people in EMS. We have to make it better. We have to find ways to make it better. We have to take better care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of anyone else. At some point, we have to reach out, and this is me reaching out to the entire community. I don't think you're a bad person for if you've gained weight. I don't think you're a bad person for any of that. I just want you to be healthier and happier. And just losing weight's not going to make you happier. It'll make you healthier. But facing those demons, that'll make you happier. Talk about this for hours, but I mean, let's be honest, this video's already went way too long. Folks, this is Gen X Medic. Have a good day and signing off.